Recently, there was a video released of a young man and woman walking through a very popular part of downtown Dallas area in a reasonable time of late night, just having a good time and heading from one place to enjoy a drink to another place to enjoy a drink when bam, out of nowhere, they're jumped. The guy is hit in the back of the head, instantly knocked unconscious. He's laying face down on the ground. The woman is punched in the head a couple of times and knocked to the ground. They steal her purse, they steal his wallet, and they're so bold that they simply walk away. They didn't run, they didn't sprint, they didn't look for cops or look for cameras or anything else. They were so thoroughly convinced they were going to get away with this attack that they didn't care to rush away. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. And I want to remind you, you may find yourself in an instance just like that, faster than you think. There are a couple of little words that we learned in the fire department, we learned in the military. Navy SEALs and SWAT teams are very aware of it as well. These two words are very, very powerful, especially when you put them together. And I'm going to encourage you, especially as parents, to begin to keep these words in your top of mind. Situational awareness. And I can tell you there are a whole lot of people that walk around with their phone right in their face. They walk out in front of cars. They walk into water fountains. They run into each other. They run into other people. They run over shopping carts and trip over parking stops because they are so focused on what's going on in their hand that they have no idea what's going on around them. There is no situational awareness. There's no ability to observe a change in the environment. I think in many cases, if you look back at natural disasters as an example, that there's a crowd and a reaction to something, whether it's a shot of a gun somewhere, the sound of a fire alarm, or the sound of an explosion, and everyone makes a mass exodus away from that. And I'm afraid as our phones have taken up so much of our time and attention that people are just continuing to stare at the device while the world rushes by them in the other direction, and they could be caught up in just about anything because they're zoned out. Situational awareness. It says look around you and recognize where there might be harm. Is there someone here who's not dressed for this occasion? Is there someone here who's suspiciously watching everyone? Is there someone who just came into this environment who doesn't look like they fit? All of those questions should be going through your mind, especially if you're a parent of toddlers, because yes, they bring good money on the black market. Sex trafficking and all kinds of other bad ideas happen to young people, especially when their parents aren't aware. A 5-year-old or 6-year-old goes to the bathroom by themselves and 5, 10, 15 minutes goes by, they don't come back. Well, most cars at 60 miles an hour can go 10 to 15 miles in 15 minutes. That just tripled the radius of where you need to be searching for your child. The amount of time that you allow them out of your sight could be the amount of time that you will never see them back again. Situational awareness is a big, big deal. But all of this has a double meaning. See, I was up till almost 2 o'clock again this morning in the ER again. And I realize that we live in a world that is a spiritual world first and a physical world on top of that. And by that I mean the real supernatural, the spiritual aspect of who we are as human beings was here long before the physical aspect of who we are as human beings was here. And that reality means there is a war raging. And the same spiritual forces that fight against us to kidnap children, to snatch them away, to do them harm, fights against our spiritual self on a daily basis. He only has one agenda: to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And so when those little things come up that seem like, maybe not a big deal, but it's this close to being a really big deal, it's hard to make the decision. Do I react to this in a huge way, or do I let water roll off a duck's back and hope for the best? And that's a tough choice to make, but you've got to make it every time. As responsible parents, you've got to be ready for the physical attack on your family, and you've got to be ready for the spiritual attack on your family. And trust me, if you're doing something right, especially if you're doing something that threatens the kingdom of darkness, that attack is coming. And it may come on every level: spiritual, financial, emotional, relational, and physical. Attacks against health and safety are big deals. Situational awareness is the key. Understand when you're going into enemy territory and making a difference. You will be under attack. So keep your head up. Keep your eyes open. Keep your head on a swivel and know what's going on around you. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast on Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.